build your home, did you set out specifically to build a sustainable home? I mean, were you thinking in the future you might not be able to rely on oil so much? Or did you do it just because you thought it might be better for the environment? What was the driving reason for you to want to use renewable energy?
I think it was a combination of both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, coming from an old Vermont farmhouse that had lots of drafts and needed a lot of, especially fuel sources in the wintertime, wood, oil, forced hot air heating system, just to keep it moderately comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely started beginning to research other options and having a little bit of knowledge about it went both for definitely in the immediate having less of an impact on the environment in the near future,
Mm-hmm.
and also being concerned about what our, the long-range future holds for us.
Right.
And being able to live off the grid completely and be that independent seemed like the way to go. 16 solar panels, so there's 2 8-rack panels behind us. There's a 1 kilowatt wind tower,
Uh-huh.
and then 8,500 Kohler generator that runs on propane. And those 3 things all feed into the house, into a battery bank. We have 16 batteries that store the energy. And if the solar and sun are not doing their job, if they're not available, at a certain point the generator will automatically kick on and fill the batteries. And then there's an inverter that takes the power from the batteries from DC to AC and then goes into a regular everyday household fuse box and powers the house and heats the house.
Right. What about that very cool thermal mass fireplace you have?
That's called a masonry heater. And it's a temp cast out of Canada, and the purpose of that is to save on the amount of wood used. The burning is much more efficient because you burn a hot fire once a day,
Uh-huh.
and it's rather than having it slow burn all day long, it burns out, so there's less pollutants. And it heats up this large thermal mass, so it's surrounded by bricks, and then that radiates throughout the day. And in the middle of winter, we probably build a fire once a day. And there's a cap on the chimney, so once it burns out, you can close the cap,
Uh-huh.
keep the heat in, and that will heat a good portion of the downstairs and the upstairs.
Great. Do you think the oil depletion is going to have a big impact on you? I mean, you have a sustainable home. I mean, how do you think it might impact you? You drive cars, right?
Right. Well, I mean, it's a big enough issue that it's going to impact everybody on some level. We may feel it less given the home situation we have, but we all have jobs and places that use oil, and we drive cars.
Anyway, I noticed your sign here and
You did?
wondered what your relationship is to this sign and oil.
They're kind of becoming a dinosaur in a way.
How so?
Well, I think we're running out of oil.
Like, do you have a time frame for running out of oil? They all say if we don't mitigate it now, we're going to be having a little bit of a problem.
Well, we've got to get started right now so we can be ready so it won't affect us.
Right.
I'm also working with a farmer here in town where we might start growing crops so we can make ethanol with non-corn products like
And why is that?
switchgrass.
Why non-corn?
Well, corn, it takes almost as much energy to make corn ethanol as it does to just burn the oil and be done with it. It'd be nice if we could get this going before we are just scrambling around and everybody's going crazy about doing this. It'd be nice if we could kind of just slowly transform over to growing our own fuel and our own food and get everything so it's more local.
Right. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about our transitioning and how we don't have a lot of bridging technology to get us smoothly into the future.
And we really should stop using oil anyway and fossil fuels just for our environment. It's really,
It's that simple.
right. The greenhouse gases, everybody's hearing about it. It's a real thing, and it's happening. And it just we need to stop it.
Right.
And
cut it out.
chopping wood. It's like running 5 miles with your arms.